I've known Matt since we did stuff at the Flea Theater downtown, down in Tribeca. And so he had the idea for the show, and he was like, hey, I want you to play this part. And I was like, okay, cool. So that's sort of where it started, was he was like, you're going to be, you know, sort of the kid who wants to be a hero. And I was like, all right. No, but it's been a long journey of figuring out what that's like and what it's like to, as a person, want to, you know, strive to be something really special, and maybe that's not in the cards in the same way that we see it in the series, in the way that, you know, he becomes, you know, the chosen one. There can only be one of those. So what it's like to want to be that and you know, fall short, and sort of, I think that's a thing that a lot of us struggle with as we grow up, and being like, how do you go through life knowing that you're not going to be the most famous person on earth and still, you know, have a happy and fulfilling life in that way. So
our little funny play gets very deep.
Yeah, no, you're like taken, like you're not blindsided, but you don't see it coming. You're like, oh wow, this is, I'm feeling things. Like,
that's good. That's great. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
Joke's on you.
Yeah. Julianne?
Yeah, I'm also friends with Mr. Matt Cox over here doing stuff at the Flea Theater with Zach. And I saw Kapowie Go-Go, and I loved it. And I would think, while watching it, like, oh my God, I hope Matt asks me to be in something. I hope he asks me to be in something. So he wrote Puffs, and we did a reading of it at the Pit. And he wasn't even like, I want you to play this part. He's like, hey, can you like do this reading? Like, play this part of Megan. And so, you know, we did the reading. He was like, all right, the part story is from here on out. I was like, oh, my goodness. So, yeah, I've been working on Megan's been fun because I was not like Megan at all growing up in high school. I was a goody two-shoes, not rebellious. My mom's in the audience. She can attest to that. You know, she's like a little bit of a goth chick, rebellious. And so I guess working on her, I think in a similar way to Wayne, she also wants to be special. She wants to know who she is, like, right away. And so she kind of keeps on pinning herself into these things. And wanting to be special, that's something I can relate to. And that's what I always kind of go from that area for myself.
Langston, since they both mentioned being friends with Matt, I imagine you guys are mortal enemies.
I'll tell you the honest truth.
Each other.
Can't stand him. I was also friends with Matt. I met Matt at the People's Improv Theater because when they were doing Kapowie Go-Go, this is so ridiculous. They were doing Kapowie Go-Go, and it's such an amazing show, then they wanted to use it as like, hey, we want to attach things at the Pit to the show because it's so amazing. It has so many awesome people coming to see it. And a group that I am in with Nick Correa, who's also in Puffs, Gus, we did a show with one of the hours of Kapowie Go-Go, and then I was fortunate and honored to end up being in Kapowie Go-Go, which was awesome, and also harrowing, but oh boy, but it was so rewarding. And then eventually I was like, hey, I want you to do the reading of the show, and I was like, absolutely, because I trust him implicitly. So yeah, and he gave me this awesome, fun character to mess around with and play with. And Oliver, I think the interesting thing, the juxtaposition between these two is that Oliver's already special in the mug world. He's already a genius. So I think it's interesting seeing his arc of going from realizing that, yeah, you are special in certain places. You go some places and it's a complete, you know, cold water in the face type thing of like, oh no, I don't know what's going on. And then I think the really fun thing is playing the arc of watching him and experiencing him finding his place in this school of things that make no sense because he's like us. He's like people that, you know, like, it's like he's from New Jersey. He's a person. He's like a normal person.
Really good at math.
He's really good at math, and he's like something that I objectively hated in school. So I was like, oh, Matt, yikes.
Acting.
Truly is.
Yeah, and actually, so what's funny is that, so the show, they've mentioned the reading, so pretty much every single person in the show was in the first reading of the play at the Pit, all three of them, and we added Nick Correa for the second reading, and then we've only swapped one actor out throughout the history of the show over the 2 years, which is crazy. But yeah, even then, so it's like Wayne and Megan have like changed a lot working with them. But Oliver, actually, since the first reading, we like nailed it. It was like, oh, this is funny.
Right
Person who's really good at math, not good at being a wizard.
This is it. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, it's pretty much, it's one of those things like, yep, and it's so simple. It's just like, yeah, he's not good. He really wants to try to be good. But, you know, he keeps being put in mortal danger, and that gets in the way of that, yeah.